I don't got time for a hater. Only got time for the paper. I don't got time. I don't got time. I don't got time for a hater. No, I don't got time for a hater. Every day a struggle, I was walking around with pain and doubt. Only got time for the paper. Gotta love the journey. If you don't, you're not gonna make it out. I don't got time for a hater. Every day a struggle, I was walking around with pain and doubt. Only got time for the paper. Gotta love the journey. If you don't, you're not gonna make it out.
To do this. You've been ducking me for a couple weeks anyways, man.
Listen, man, I've been seeing these other interviews, and that's why when you said, yo, we got to do this, I said, all right, man, let's go.
I needed to bring you on, man. All right, so welcome, everyone, to another episode of Entrepreneur Spotlight, man. And we have the season finale, man. This is the season finale. This is episode 8.
That's crazy.
And I can't believe that I held it down for the whole season. And you know, Aaron had the first 2 seasons, and I had to jump out, and this is pretty much my first season that I did on my own. But you know, I gotta introduce it. I ain't really gotta introduce this guy, man. If you're from the 315 area code and New Hartford, Utica, Clinton, this whole area over here, man. This guy right here, we have Critter Maldonado, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, man. Critter.
Finally, man.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say finally, because I was on episode the.
You were.
Was that season 1 or season 2?
No, it was season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2, and
yeah. So season 2 was cool, man. I like it. Like I said, man, in the text, man, I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
promoting
it.
like other businesses and people who probably normally wouldn't have a voice.
Yeah, man.
Like that's great. I love seeing that because you know you could see people who never heard of somebody or might not encounter that person be able to see them on your platform.
Yeah, listen, man, but
I love that.
At the end of the day, a lot of people in this area know about you.
Yeah.
From what I hear, you know what I'm saying? I'm not from up here. I've been up here for the past 6 years, but there's a lot of people that I've spoken to that always has something good to say about
cool,
you.
Man.
But
cool.
You know, I'm sure everyone knows Critter from cutting hair. I had a phone call today. I had to call some people. I'm like, I call my man from Utica. I'm like, yo.
Give me something.
Yeah, shout out to Ed Blackshear. I'm like, yo, Ed, you know Ed Blackshear, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Ed, do you know anything else from Critter that you can give me that I can, like, pretty much just kind of stun him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, shit, where you get that from? But I hear from a lot of people used to rap.
I did.
Yeah, I'm like, that shocked me.
Yeah.
That shocked me.
Oh, we didn't touch that last.
No,
last
I
time
don't
we
think
talked
you
about
said.
this?
I don't think you said it on the episode. I think you said it afterwards.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it after we shut the cameras off. But yeah, I rapped for years, man. So the crazy part is, while I was rapping in Utica, and like I said before, we started doing battles.
Shout out Utica.
Doing shout out all the artists in Utica. Like, if you ask any artist from Utica, especially from probably not newer, but years ago, we tried to network with everybody. Same thing you're doing as far as...
Not try, man.
Yeah, no, we did.
You
We did.
You did.
Yeah. So
from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So same thing as far as like you doing promoting with people. That we did that with everybody. That's what Critter TV was. Critter TV was essentially my music along with my cutting hair with funny skits added in. It was pretty much my whole personality and life brought to film.
And
so like whether we were going to different cities promoting, doing shows, 106 in Park, battles, like
you went
all
to
that.
106 in Park?
So we went to 106 in Park. They had like a tryout, and we
was it
filmed,
Ray J and
I don't remember who was there at the time. Now this was like Free and AJ.
yeah, Free J and Free and AJ.
Yes, yeah. So that was around that time. So we went down there to do the tryouts for them and everything, and got a ton of footage down there. Met a bunch of battle rappers, and it's crazy because some of the rappers I met down there ended up like being on Smack and stuff, like going further with the battle thing. So the battle thing was something I felt like I had to do I don't know. So you've never seen none of my battles, nothing?
Listen. I went through YouTube, and I'm looking for content. I was like, I need something. The only thing I did find from you,
Yeah.
was Ear to the Streets.
Okay.
Ear to the Streets.
Yeah.
You were on
Yeah.
that not podcast. I think they were filming.
Yes.
It's something called Ear to the Street. They featured you, and they had you on there as Critter TV.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So at that time, so when I first came up rapping, I wasn't like big on the scene as far like everybody knew me for cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of at that time it was like, oh, he's a barber, you know. So when I started rapping and I was hanging out with dudes that were rapping, I had to do something that set me kind of apart from the barber, you know. So I realized at one point, like, man, if I got to make a name for myself, I got to battle.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get into this crowd that I'm not normally in. So I just started getting into battles, getting into freestyles, and that's when it really started to like take form. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's when it got crazy for us.
Now, if you was to compare yourself to a rapper, what rapper? And I had this conversation today with my man, Ed, and he told me which rapper, because I'm like, what rapper? Because I wanted to hear like something from you, and I'm like, I need to hear like how he rapped or whatever. I need this content. I need to hear something from you. But who will you compare yourself to? Not compare, but be like, all right, this is the type of style that I have.
Man, I'll tell you the truth. Everybody used to ask me that, and I never really had. I never really had like that style of like someone else's. So I did like I used to do the whole punchline thing and all that, like the whole Lloyd Banks punchlines and this and that. But I tried to add like wordplay, but with like wit. You know what I'm saying? Like rap, but still make words rhyme, but not while saying something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't know who did he compare me to?
Mac Miller.
I could see that. Mac's a little more calm.
Because I was like, was he like a Eminem type of rapper?
Nah.
And he's like, nah, he's like a Mac Miller.
Yeah.
He's like, if we were gonna say like a rapper, he's like a Mac Miller. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Mac
more
Miller's
wordplay, but probably like Mac Miller was a little more calm. Like like you know when he raps, he's like, you know, got the flow, so don't you? Like mine was more like, you know, hey yo, shit is getting crazy. Dudes hate me, but really can't play me. Can't phase me. You could say last mixtape made me, sadly. You know, like that kind of like, you know.
I would have never known, man. When you said that, I was like, it threw me off a little bit because you know me, I'm a music head. Yeah. Or genres, like you wouldn't even know. Like there's a lot of music that I listen to. I listen to Mozart. Yeah. I listen to Mozart and throughout the day and stuff like that. But back in the days, it was more so of Public Enemy. And you had. Well, Biggie was in the 90s, but before that, Big Daddy Kane. I'm a big Big Daddy Kane fan. So
that like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, that was like a couple years before me. Like I came up on the Nas, Wu-Tang, Biggie 93 era.
Purple Tape?
Yeah. Raekwon. That I came up on that whole era of like, I remember, because I always credit my one of my older sister's boyfriends for putting me on the music, because when I first moved from Utica, I'm originally from near Buffalo. When I first moved to Utica, I listened to rap, but I didn't know anything about New York City rap. So my sister's boyfriend put me on to like Nas, Whose World Is This, and then Biggie came out, and then Wu-Tang came out in '93, and that was the stuff that I started really listening to from there, from New York, which developed into the Busta Rhymes, the Boot Camp Clicks, the Buckshot, Buckshot, like
come on,
Showbiz, AG, Digging in the Crates, all those dudes. That's why I started learning from that type of music. Where before, when I was like 10, I was listening to like Snoop Dogg and like stuff you would hear on like the radio that was popular, you know. So I didn't really hear a lot of like the Rakim, Big Daddy Kane era until I really got into music, and then I went back and listened to it.
Yeah, that's the type of music that I pretty much grew up on. A lot of Motown. My father used to listen to a lot of Motown and stuff in the house. So Al Green and Barry White and Temptations and stuff like that. But I grew up around a lot of music, and I love music. Yeah. And music always drawn me back for some reason. Like it always keeps bringing me back. And now Trey. Yeah. In the music.
That's crazy.
So
crazy.
that's bringing me right back
Him rapping
out
for
of
you,
retirement.
bro. Him rapping for you is like seeing my son cutting hair.
Yeah.
Like, cause my son's getting into cutting hair right now at 11. So I thought about that with him rapping, how it must be for you, cause
Yeah.
like my son for a couple years was like, oh, writing lyrics and stuff down, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
But the thing is, like for me, like I wasn't a rapper. I wasn't rapping. I wasn't producing. I wasn't doing any of that. I was
Yeah.
more on the business end.
Yeah.
I was just around a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I've always been around a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And it kept bringing me there from managing. I was managing artists,
Yeah.
going all over from city to city and from radio station, meeting A&Rs, all this stuff. So I was around the music industry for years, you know, and always it jumped in, kept meeting people, and for some reason it kept bringing me right, it kept drawing me right back in. So I'm like, all right, now my son is involved with it, and I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
now I'm right back out of retirement to help him out
That's
and
crazy,
he's
man.
nice.
Yeah, he is.
He's nice.
He is.
He's got it.
He
He's
is.
got
He
it. So,
is.
and happy birthday to Trey.
Yeah, happy birthday, Trey. 21,
Yeah,
man.
21.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah,
21.
so you with your son cutting hair, how does that feel, man? Like,
It's amazing, man. Like,
how old is he?
My boy's 11. My son is Marciano. He's 11. He's a great boy, man. He's super outgoing. His personality is great. So I already know when if it comes to him wanting to move forward with that, he'll be good.
Yeah,
He's
and
got
you got
the
his back,
personality.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So he talks to me now like he already works here. He's like, Dad, when you gonna set my station up? And like, so for me to see, because me cutting hair, I started at 14 years old, and now my son starting at 11. For me, it's crazy to see him starting even younger than I was. You know, he did his first haircut at 10 years old. You know, I didn't do my first haircut till I was 14.
That's crazy.
You know, so. To see it now is so cool because I always said, you know, before I had kids, when I become a dad, I'm not going to force my kids to do. You say everything you're going to do before you have kids. I said, when I become a dad, I'm not going to force my kids to play a sport I want them to play or to have a job.
I agree.
So I've never forced my kids to do any of that. But my son, you know, like he's a good baseball player, he's a good football player, and he's starting to get into cutting hair, and I didn't force any of them on him. I've seen way too many kids over the years come in here and they've been forced into something by their parents or forced to go to school. Then they go and waste money because it's not what they want to do.
You gotta like as a parent, I feel, and this is me just being around a lot of kids. I raised a lot of kids. Like I have 2 biological kids, but I feel like I have so many kids because I raised so many kids from the neighborhood, from a family and stuff like that. But I always allowed my kids and everyone to be who they are naturally.
That's important, man.
Because
So
I
important.
felt like as a child, you know what I'm saying, I never wanted to be forced to be anything else that I am.
And did you come up around both parents?
Yeah, I grew up around both my parents.
Yeah.
Till I was a teenager and stuff
I only
like
ask because
that.
I feel like that plays like such a critical role in whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah, but my mom wanted me to be something. My dad just pretty much is like whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But my mom wanted me to become something else. I think like a pilot or something, like a police officer or whatever
Yeah.
it was. But that wasn't me. School wasn't like I really didn't like school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
feel you, man.
like school's not for everyone.
Yeah. So, listen, when I was in school, everybody used to say to me, "Are you going to college?" And I'm like, "For what? I don't like school now." And thank God I graduated because after my father graduated, my older sister was the only one in my family who did. So I felt like a lot of pressure. Like, man, I got to graduate. So when I graduated, I told everybody, like, look, I'm going to take, I didn't know what I wanted to do. At that time, I wanted to rap. You know, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a rapper.
No kid
you know?
knows what to do at that age.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the problem. These schools tell you, you know, for your whole 12 years, hey, you got to know what you want to do for the rest of your life by 18. You get out and you're like, oh, damn, I'm trying to go party. What I'm supposed to have a full-time job right now? This is crazy. So when I got out, I told everybody, like, oh, I'm going to school. I'm going to take a year off, and I'm going to go to college after a year. And everybody told me, if you take a year off, you'll never go
You
to
ain't
school.
going back.
I
Did
took
you
a
ever go
year
back?
off. I went to school.
Okay. All right. So you proved them wrong.
I went to school, and in my second semester, there was a guy at a local barbershop who needed someone to work with him. So I started cutting hair. I was working like 12 to 6 every day. I was going to college from like 8 or 9 in the morning till 12 noon, going to the barbershop and stay until 7, 8 o'clock. And I went probably like 2-3 more semesters after that, till one day I'm like, man, if I just go into the barbershop earlier, I don't really need to go to school for something. So that's when I made barbering full time, and the shop became mine like 8 months after I got into business.
Oh shit.
So from there,
Damn.
here I was 19 years old. I was about to turn 20,
Owning a barbershop.
owning a barbershop.
That's dope, man.
So for me,
That's dope.
so I didn't even realize at the time, like, you know, I'm sure you could talk to Trey right now, but anything at 21, and he, you know, you don't see certain things at that time where. At that time, older guys were coming in like, "Oh, who's the owner?" And I'm like, "Oh, I am." And they're like, "No, really, who's the owner?" And I'm like, "Why don't they believe it?" But 20 years ago, there wasn't a lot of young owners. So for me, it was cool because I was experiencing it, but I didn't know anybody to tell me how to run the business, you know. So I had to learn from doing it rather than from someone like in my son's position. I could tell him.
So it was hands on. You pretty much ran your business.
Yep.
Do you have anyone to guide you through that, or a mentor, or somebody to be like, listen, you need to do this, this, and this? No,
Nothing.
you just listen, man. I think that's the best way to learn things. It's hands on.
I'm appreciative because of how I learned it. I didn't have to learn from someone else's way.
But sometimes you learn there's hard lessons in that.
Yeah.
When you're the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one doing it
Yeah.
and no one is telling you
Yeah.
anything,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna learn some expensive
Yeah.
lessons. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
that's why like, the funniest. I'm sure everybody in every profession hears it, but like the must be nice thing, you know, like, oh, you own a business at this age, must be nice, and it's like, bro, I've been here for 12 hours. Like I've been promoting. Like I always say, that nobody remembers when I was dribbling a basketball in the barbershop waiting for customers. I think I told Aaron this last interview. Nobody remembers me dribbling a basketball waiting in the shop for customers to come in doing 3 haircuts a day. And it's that type of motivation from that you get the hunger to exceed farther than that.
Yeah, listen,
know?
man. The struggles. People are built off struggles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're built off of the struggles.
Yeah.
You got to go through some type of resistance to actually know what you made out of.
Yeah.
Because if everything's going good,
Yeah.
like the moment shit goes left and goes like another direction,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's where you actually see who's really an entrepreneur, who's really about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like a boxer. If you're a boxer, the moment you're gonna know you want to be a boxer is when you get in the ring and get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Because once you get punched
Mike
in the
Tyson said, right? Like,
once you get punched in the face, you can be
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what? This ain't for me. This shit ain't for me.
And
You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, it's funny because when I was, like I said, when I was 19 and 20, I didn't really see it like that. I just thought, oh, I'm doing what I like. I'm getting paid for it. Like, okay, let's just run with it. And I was still going out of town with my music and still going to battle in other cities. So for me, I never thought like, oh, I'm going to be celebrating. This year was my 21st year in business. I didn't think at that time, 20 years later, I'd be saying that in an interview. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man.
So,
21 years?
Yeah. So
That's
when
good.
you think about that, like when Trey was born, I was just opening
Oh, yeah,
up.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
crazy to
right.
think about. Like when he was born, I was 8-9 months into business. You know, so it's crazy. Like when I tell people about it now, like I had a kid today in my chair and we were talking about cutting hair, and I said, and he said something about how long have I been cutting hair, and I said guess, and he was like 4 years. I was like, higher. He's like
Probably
6.
older than you, kid.
So I said 27 years I've been cutting hair and 21 professionally. So he was like, what? Like, he was trying to do the math. He couldn't believe it. But I'm super appreciative of it, man, because like I was just telling someone the other day at my son's football practice, people trust us. To have somebody come in, sit down with you, and be able to talk to you about their life,
Tell your business.
trust you with all that.
You know what?
Yeah,
Trust
trust you with all that and say, hey, man, listen, here's what's going on in my life. Here's my struggles. Here's this and that. And you got to just be like, cool, man, here's my feedback to that. And they just take it.
Yeah.
I had a kid, like we were just saying about getting out of school and thinking you're supposed to know what you want to do. I had a kid in here a couple weeks ago. He's probably about 20 years
I've
old.
seen it in your stories.
Oh, I was talking about it. Yes.
Yeah, you talked about
20
it in your
years
stories.
old.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in and
but
say
like,
something about
like,
that.
to be able to give him a conversation and talk to him about that and say, hey, here's how I view this, and him take that information is crazy. Like, where could you go do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to your dentist and you're going to tell him, hey, I just got to do a fight with my
Not with
girlfriend.
the-
yeah.
not with the stuff in
You
your
know,
mouth.
So I'm super appreciative that we have that platform, you know?
Listen, man, barbers, personal trainers, a lot of like hairstylists.
Yep.
they go in, you go in, and you're gonna hear the craziest shit.
I
Like
know, man.
me training, when I was training people, you hear some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Because the clients, they feel comfortable, which is a good thing, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they start telling some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I don't think I should be
Yeah,
hearing this, but you know what?
Sometimes you're like,
Go ahead.
damn, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you
better
just
work
sit
on
back,
that.
you be like, whatever. But I'm sure in the barbershop, you hear some stories,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And as a barber, you could give your opinion here, you give your 1-2 on it, but at the end of the day, like, you know, that they just venting.
Yeah.
They just here
That's
to
why
vent.
I try not to present anything as fact, more of like opinion or advice,
Mhm.
instead of saying, hey, here's what you should do.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, if they do that and it's the wrong decision,
No.
you don't want
I
that
think
to be on you, you know?
the way I approach those type of conversations is more so of allowing the person to talk and let them hear themselves.
Yeah.
Tell me, and then give them back the same information that they gave me.
Yeah.
And say, oh, so what do you think you're gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you throw it right back on them.
Yeah.
To where you're not giving them the advice, you're allowing them to vent,
Yeah.
and then you allowing them to make their own decision without them even realizing
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But
Introducing Mr. Buzz Bakery, your new go-to destination for authentic Jamaican treats. At Mr. Buzz Bakery, we pride ourselves on using only the freshest ingredients. From our mouth-watering beef patties to our delectable sweets, every bite is a journey to paradise. Don't miss out on the mouth-watering goodness that is Mr. Buzz Bakery. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Mr. Buzz Bakery. And remember, we're conveniently located 1926 Genesee Street, Utica, New York. Open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. For info, call 315-527-2745. Mr. Buzz Bakery, your new go-to destination for authentic Jamaican treat.
so going back to you know, your clients feeling comfortable and talking and opening up to you. You know, I seen some things on your story, and when I was watching you, I was like, man, this guy needs a show, man. And this is going into, now I'm gonna bring it into, you had your own show.
Yeah.
You had your own show, Critter TV. I heard it did really well. You were out way before a lot of dudes were doing this. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
were in the streets, carrying camera, you're editing your own content, you're doing your own stuff. Now watching everyone out here do the things that like these podcasts and shows in the street, do you think that you're gonna jump back into it?
I would love to. Honestly, it's like a time thing for me.
Okay.
You know, as far as when I would do it versus where I would do it. Ideally, I would love to have just a setup like this where I could bring
Yeah.
guests in at all time and be like, hey,
You do it in the
come-
barbershop.
Yeah, come here every Wednesday night. We're gonna talk about sports. We're gonna talk about whatever. So I would love to do that. It's more of a time thing versus I don't have the right audio and all that stuff right now. Like the cameras I was using at the time were kind of I don't want to say ahead of their time, but I had like high definition cameras before they were like a big deal, you know. And that was stuff I just bought from like Best Buy.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was like new technology.
Well, I know a
But
guy.
I would love to do it.
I know a guy who has
Yeah.
the whole setup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I could plug you in. I could plug you in with him.
Yeah, I need that, man. I need that.
Nah, but I feel like your personality, man.
Yeah.
You have that personality, which you can sit and talk with everyone,
Yeah.
man, and everyone's comfortable to just open up and talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And everyone in the community loves you.
Thank you, man.
Out here, man.
Thank you.
I always get good feedback
Yeah.
from everyone.
Thank you, man.
And I never heard anything bad about you.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's in, like, what do you think you're gonna retire from being a barber, or you think this is it, or is there anything else for Critter, man?
Honestly, man, my goal, like, as far as cutting hair, I don't want to cut 10, 12 hours the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, my goal is, I tell everybody, like, I always point to the cans on our stations whenever we talk, and I'm like, I want my name on these. So I want barbering to be a platform to get to other things, whether they be hair related or podcast related or any of that. So what I always want to cut hair. I like. It's
just a passion.
It's me. It's
a
in me.
passion.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
your passion.
cutting hair is me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things. Like when you talk about somebody, and you say like, hey, tell me 3 words that describe that person.
Mm-hmm.
Think of anybody you know. If someone was to say that about me, I think that one of those words would be barber.
Mm-hmm.
So it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a barber.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 things are 1, 2, and 3 for me. Not in any, obviously, like my wife and kids come before anything, family first. But I do want to cut hair forever. I just don't want to work in a barber shop, being super old, working crazy hours.
Be that old dude.
Yeah,
cutting.
Yeah, so that's why
the same
like
old people client.
Yeah, so that's why
you
I've
can't
had
cut my hair, man.
you have to make a lot of smart decisions before you can get to that point, So thankfully, I've working towards that. Eventually, just having people run the shop, and thankfully, the guys I got here are all great.
Yeah, no, they good dudes,
So-
man. Like everybody in here is really friendly, good atmosphere, everything here. So.
Like I got dudes here that could run the shop if I just said, hey, I'm going to further this product I'm trying to launch or something.
Yeah.
I got guys here that could run the shop and I don't even think about it. When I first opened up, I'd call, who came in today? Who'd I miss? How'd it go? Did everybody sign in? And now I go and I'm good.
No, you have a good team here, man.
I do,
And
man. I'm very appreciative of them.
And I think everybody that owns a business should be building a team.
Yeah.
You want to build a team around you that's as good as you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even better.
Yeah.
When you have people that's even better than you,
Yeah.
then you feel a little more comfortable
Yeah.
to step away a little bit.
Listen, people that talk about skills, this, that, like when people used to ask me that, how would you feel if one of your guys went to one of your other barbers? I'm like, listen, I wouldn't have them here if they didn't have that capability. So if somebody wants to go to another barber here and doesn't want to come to me anymore, they're still coming here. So we never get mad at each other about that. Like we say all the time, like someone's like, hey, I'm sorry I had to book an appointment with Chris this week. I had to get in with
it's
Zay.
all right. It's still
I'm
in
like,
the business.
You're still here, bro.
Still giving money, you're still supporting.
Yeah,
the,
you're still here.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad about that. So I'm appreciative that people aren't saying the opposite. You never want someone to come in and say, "Dang, Critter's busy. I don't want to get into no one else because he'll
Yeah.
do." So I'm super appreciative of my guys.
No,
These guys are the best, man.
there's some good people in here,
Yeah.
man. From what I see.
Yep.
So, question, Critter. I tend to ask a lot of the people that I interview, what is their superpowers, man? I want to know, what is Critter's superpower? If you had a superpower,
I think I know what it is.
man?
I think that I can read people
Oh yeah.
very well. So, and I say that because things like talking to people or even raising my kids, I don't want to say they've been easy, but they felt easier. So like my kids, instead of just asking them what's wrong, instead of tending to their needs, I've been able to read them as they grow up and say, hey, what's the problem here? And then I'll say, hey, is this the problem? Or I'll have customers that come in and I always joke, like I'll say like, hey, how's your job going? And if they pause, I'm like, oh, I already know. I already know.
You're intuitive,
because,
man.
Yeah, so
You're intuitive.
if anything, I would say that. Like I'm very good at reading people and understanding emotion. And I see it in my son a lot. And that's why having kids is so crazy, because my son one day, he asked me a question. I didn't answer him. And he goes, why do you look mad about it? And I was like, oh, my God. I didn't even say nothing to him. I didn't even say nothing to him.
Oh, man.
And he goes, why do you look upset about it? And I was like, man, I didn't even say nothing to you. He goes, yeah, but you made that face.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, he's got it. Like,
I think reading body language is very important,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm very big on. I'm quiet. You know me. I'm a quiet dude. I
Yep.
sit back.
Yep.
But what I'm doing is analyzing everything, everyone around me. I
Yep.
grew up in the hood, man. Grew up in the projects. So
Yeah.
growing up in the projects,
used to looking around.
you have to be very observant. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
don't know what the hell is gonna happen
Oh, yeah.
next.
Yeah.
So I wonder where do you think you picked that up? Because I know you grew up in Utica.
It's funny you say that because
Where you grew up?
I grew up in a town called Lockport near Buffalo, New York.
Okay, shout out to Lockport, Buffalo.
No, yeah, shout out to Lockport, Buffalo. The crazy part is my I got like 30 cousins, so I was always around people. And I'm the third kid in my family, so when you're the third kid and you're part of a younger group of cousins, you always got to look around. You know what I'm saying? Like you always got to be on point, whether it's someone messing with you or picking on you or joking with you. So I developed a natural like ball busting personality, but still able to get along with people, not being quiet because of how I grew up around them. So when I moved to Utica and moved to Bleecker Street, that was I started being around all these new people and not knowing how to handle it, but still being like, oh man, I've been around people all my life. Now I just have to adjust to whatever situation I'm in. So I went to Proctor, adjusted to that. Went to Utica schools from 6th grade up, adjusted to those situations. But I think just being around people and being around certain environments, especially coming up in rap and looking the way I do, like even with cutting hair, like I always had to be on point and paying attention to who was around or how people were moving, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, in rap and in the hood, man, it's more so you have to be on your game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always on your toes and making sure that everything is moving correctly. You don't know whether you're gonna have to run, duck, or whatever you got to do.
And the crazy part is, you see, when you're around hood dudes or dudes that are like coming up in the music business that you don't know, everybody's walking around with the screw face, looking all mean.
mug.
And then you get to know these dudes and they're ball breakers just like you. And you're like, damn, man, listen. When I first met this dude, he's looking at me like, dude, I remember before I started battling, I remember dudes being like, walking up like, oh, who's this dude? Who's this? Like, who is this kid? And then I would rap, and then they're like, oh, okay.
They give you the respect.
And then after that, it was like, that's when I started seeing like, if I'm, how they say real recognize real. If I'm just me, I don't ever have to worry about making stuff up or remembering anything. So I didn't get around people and be like, oh, what up, son? Oh yeah, that's not me. So I would just get around and just break balls. I just walk in and got my hair done. I'm like, oh, what's up?
You never strike me to be anyone to, to be outside of who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think you move authentically, and that's probably why a lot of people like you. You know what I'm saying? And you got into where you got into in life because of that. Authenticity gets you so much further.
And I think one of the biggest things is not even just with me, but just with people. I always treat everybody fairly and how they are to me. When people say, like, when you said, oh, I know, when you said in the beginning of the interview, like, I know this person who said this good thing about you or this, like, the people, everybody I treat is how they are to me. So if someone says, this person's a real jerk, and I'm like, well, he hasn't been that to me, so I'm not going to treat him like that. So when people say, oh, I like this kid, well, it's probably because that person is genuine with them and doesn't go on what they've heard about them or what they assume about them, especially with rap. Because someone could look at anybody who's a rapper and be like, oh, look at this wannabe. You know how many times I've been called a wannabe coming up? And then I talk to these because I got baggy jeans on or I'm wearing like Averex jackets and all that.
They probably just go based off of what they see and not actually knowing you, having you speak. Because I could tell who's who. You know what I'm saying? By just how they speak, how they move, or whatever, their body language from the way they speak. And the moment someone speaks like yourself, they probably was like, okay, maybe he's really about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think if anything, they probably realized I just wasn't trying to just be down. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man, a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people heard a lot of stories about me. Good, bad, all of that. Believe it all.
Yeah.
Because the bad stories about me was because they deserved it.
Yeah,
you know
I'll tell you what, man. Everybody's got their stuff, man.
And I'm a good dude. I know I'm a good dude, genuinely good dude.
Yeah.
And but I can also be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be real. I can be an asshole if I need to.
Well, that's why I was laughing when you said that in the beginning. Because I'm like, man, you could probably talk to some people who probably say, oh, he's this or that. You can't stop that. Like one of the biggest things I learned was from my boy Sif years ago. Big Sif. Shout out to Big Sif. Dude used to rap. He was awesome. I was struggling hard. Like, man, the hood don't listen to us. This was before I started battling. The hood don't listen to us. We can't get these dudes to do collabs with us. Like, we can't do nothing. I'm like, I'm afraid that certain people just won't like me for who I am. And he was like, yo, Critter, listen. He's like, you know how many billion people eat at McDonald's? He goes, you know how many people hate McDonald's? I was like, damn.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
I was like, damn, bro.
That's the truth.
It was that fast where I was like, I don't care no more what people.
What he did, he shifted your perspective of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And changed your mindset on things. And you got to look at that. I have those conversations a lot.
Yeah.
I have it with Aaron. I have it with my son, Trey. And matter of fact, I had a shout out to Nazi. I had a conversation with Nazi the other day, and thing is, like, some of these things, like, you get resistance. You get resistance.
Yeah.
Some people like, some people don't.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's 8 billion people in this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Who gives
I
a
was-
shit about
yeah,
the
I was-
5 people that you know that don't like you?
That's why I was
know what I'm saying?
especially with the rap, I was getting, like, it took me longer to prove myself with rap than it did with cutting hair. Because cutting hair, it was kind of natural, and it was kind of like, I came up from real young with that. And I didn't really start rapping until my late teens, like early 20s. But coming up with rap, it's harder to get people to believe you, because rap is like, it's like playing baseball. You got to prove it. Like, you could say you could play baseball.
Yeah.
But if you go out there and you don't play good, people are going to be like, oh, damn, he's not that
People
good.
are gonna test you.
Yeah,
too.
oh, yeah.
Rap, especially around that time,
Yeah.
they're gonna test you.
Yeah.
because it was still fresh.
Bro, listen,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I-
rap was been around for probably 20 years when you started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was still
Yeah.
growing. Like, it hasn't really blossomed till, like, I think the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
It started taking
Yeah.
off to where people started making money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had to literally jump into battles that I had probably no business being at.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I got a battle on YouTube from shout out to my boy King Benny Dutch.
I gotta see those.
I'll send you the links.
You gotta send me the link. I gotta see this.
Bro, King Benny called me one time. There was a kid from, I don't know if he was from New York or where he was from. He's like, I'll battle anybody in Utica. And I'm like, all right, I'll battle. You know what I'm saying? No one stepped up at the point, and I'm like, all right, I'll battle and whatever. So it went on for a couple weeks. Nothing really happened. He called me one night. I'm out Christmas shopping with my wife, just me and her. He called me. He's like, bro, we're all at the basement, in the basement right now. Like, he wants to battle. You got 10 people here. I'm like, yo, I'm Christmas shopping with my wife. He's like, dude, he's here. I said,
I'll be there in 10 minutes.
I hung up. I said, babe, I was like, I gotta go do this battle. I swear to God,
kidding me?
we were at Macy's. I said, babe, I'm sorry, but I gotta go do this battle. And I was like,
Did she give you shit?
Just
Did she
me?
give you shit?
She didn't. She didn't.
That's
She
good.
knew.
That's a good wife.
She didn't.
Shout out to your wife. What's her name?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
So,
Shout out to Jacqueline.
She, I'm telling you, she's gonna watch this and laugh, because we were in Macy's shopping. I hung up the phone. I said, babe, I'm sorry, but I gotta go do this battle. And she's like, what? Why? We're Christmas shopping. I'm like, there's like 10 hood dudes right now that have been sleeping on me forever.
Did you bring your
if
wife?
I don't go
Did you
do
bring your wife to the
She
battle?
was my camera person.
Oh shit.
Bro,
Damn, she was
said
supportive too.
I said we gotta go now, because like I said, I was trying to get this crowd to hear me, and I hate to even say it like 10 hood dudes, but you get it. It's
Yeah,
like these,
I mean, you're in the street.
It was dudes in the streets that I just wasn't around, you know. So, I was like, we gotta go. So we went. She held the camera. I just went there, and you'll see the footage later. I'll show you.
Oh
later.
man, I gotta see it.
But it didn't go good for him. So it was like,
that's good.
and it was crazy. And that right there, I can't even tell you what that did for me.
Listen, at least it was worth it, man.
No, yeah.
It took you away from shopping with your girl to go over there and destroy this dude.
Yeah.
So I gotta see the footage.
Yeah, I'll
man.
send
I
you
gotta
that
see
tonight.
this. But listen, Critter, man, I don't want to hold you. I know you got things to do, but this was great. This was great.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I love this platform, man.
I watch you all the time on social media. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You inspire a lot of people.
Thank you, man.
The community loves you. You're always getting support from here. I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm a big fan
Thank
of
you.
what you do, and you support my son too,
course.
and stuff like that with his music, and the stories that I hear about you from the people in the community. They have good things to say.
Cool,
so,
man. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we're always gonna bring you back for another episode.
Cool.
And hopefully you can call that guy about the camera equipment and see if we get your podcast going, man.
Yeah, man.
But you want to plug your handles in, man?
Hey, man.
Give the viewers
Next
the
Level
info.
Barbershop, 8449 Seneca Turnpike. You can call 315-724-NEXT to get in, or you could hit up Critter the Barber on Instagram.
All right, man. And you have any inspirational words, man, to give,
man.
to leave this show off? I like to have the person give some type of words of wisdom, some type of something. Like,
Listen.
anybody, like, in any industry. It
Listen,
doesn't-
for
it doesn't even
anybody
matter.
in any age, industry, race, ethnicity, find something you like doing or you're good at and make money off it. I probably even said it last episode because I tell everybody this. Just being yourself, number one, and find something you're good at or you're liking, and make money off it. because it's far too often that people are out here getting degrees and jobs that they hate and they don't want to go to work every day.
Listen, man, you ain't lying, man.
Yeah.
Listen, just be yourself.
That's it, man.
That's it.
That's
listen, being yourself is gonna get you so much further. So much
much.
further in life,
So much.
man. But listen, this was great, man.
Yeah, I
this
love
was
this.
great. Thank you. I appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you,
for
brother.
real. I appreciate it.
Thank
All
you,
right?
man.
I don't got time for a hater. Only got time for the paper. I don't got